Hello. Mozzarella. No, they're bagels. No mozzarella here, fortunately. I do like mozzarella though. I forgot to turn on one of the burners. My pot of water is not boiling yet. Bacon, egg, and cheese. We have egg and cheese, no bacon though. Yes, we have bagels. Yeah. I'm just gonna throw them in there because I need to go. I think these are bacon. Yeah, you can come down and get one if you want. We open at 7 o'clock. If you're in the Vancouver area, I highly recommend you come down and get a bagel. We sell them by the half and full dozens. Cheech. Do I look like Cheech? I look more like Cheech than I do Chong, so. Chong, he was sort of short. Cheech was like fairly tall. I think my personality is more like Cheech too. Okay, sweet. Come get some bagels. I'll hook you up with a free one. If you actually see me in person, and you say you saw me on Twitch, I'll buy you a bagel. But I have to be here. You have to come here and see me in person. You can't just come here and say I'm a friend of the baker. They're $1.75 each. That's without spread. I think with the spread it's like $3.50 or $4 or something. Yeah, it's $4 for a bagel with spread on it. Cream cheese. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I'm still in dreamland right now. I can't read the comments or the chat section from here, unfortunately. So I'll try to respond as often as I can, but. How long have I been streaming? I've been on Twitch for maybe about a year, and I was on Periscope before that for a while. Obviously, I haven't achieved much popularity or anything, but I don't know if what I'm doing is really gonna cut it for that kind of stuff. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't know why I'm streaming. For the hell of it. Just doing it for the hell of it. Well, I should have played some songs. I'm gonna be waiting here for a while. I just put gloves on. Dilemmas. Do I like my job? Yes, I do. Yes. There's certain things about it that might wear down somebody's spirit. But that's normal for any job. The worst thing about this job are the hours. But that's also the best thing about this job are the hours, so I don't know. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of it this morning. A brain. Maybe I'll try to wake myself up. I'm gonna recite a poem. So let's start out with Pied Piper of Hamelin. Here, let me read your comment first. If there is a new comment. No, I don't own this business. I'm one of the most senior bakers here. I've been working here for close to 6 years now. I think 6 years? Yeah. A little bit under 6 years. Yeah, but we have 6 locations. 2 on the North Shore. They're all in the greater Vancouver area. There's 2 on the North Shore. We have 1 on Commercial Drive, 1 on Main Street, West Broadway. We have another location in Richmond, and then we have a 6th location in Surrey. Yeah. I always forget about that store. It's so far away. I never go there, so. These are mahogany boards. In a moment, I'm going to take the bagels out of the water. They're going to go on the table. Then I'm going to put them on the boards. I'm going to line them up on the boards. Right, I'm going to dress them with seeds, line them up on the boards. Then I'm going to put the boards into the oven. And I wet the boards because if they're not wet, the bagels stick. So I'm just saturating the boards with water. So the surface, I want to have like a layer of water on the surface. Once the water evaporates, the bagels will start baking right onto the board and they'll stick. So you don't want to have puddles of water on there, but you want to have a layer of water on there. And so I continuously wipe the boards in order to just get the water saturated into the board. Because once you put them in the oven, it's really hot and the water will evaporate off pretty quick. So you want to get your boards nice and damp. The moist cloth. You want to get them damp with a very moist cloth. My first bagel just popped up. It's right here. This is just the fresh water I'm using to wipe the boards. I just put them. There's like a trough down here that I put my bowl down here so it's out of the way. A Fortnite dance. No, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to end that. I don't want to see that end up as a clip or anything. That's something I might have to practice. I'm not even gonna try. No. I'm gonna use the excuse that I'm on a slippery floor. I might fall over and hurt myself. I actually don't know the Fortnite. I'd have to actually watch the moves. I've seen people dance. I can sort of visualize it, but yeah, I don't think I've ever tried to break a Fortnite move in my life. So it's never occurred. It's never occurred to me until now. So. I might try it though later. I'm not much of a dancer. I cannot bust a move. Yeah, go viral. Yeah, but it would be a bad kind of viral. It'd be like. Well, no, it wouldn't be that bad. You know, you hear about that guy that was on the plane that screamed out coronavirus. I got coronavirus or some crap. Not all things that go viral are good. Like, that sounds awful. I don't think it's the video even went viral. He was just trying to go viral. Sounds like a fool to me. I was gonna play some music, but I think I need to tend to my bagels. I don't know why that guy thought that was a good idea. Why would you think screaming out "I have coronavirus" on a plane? It's like that's almost the equivalent of saying I have a bomb. What a silly thing to do. Silly. You're an absolute beauty. What? What are you on? Absolute beauty. That's what you gotta do to grow. Yeah. I don't know if I'm really that keen on doing anything just to grow. I won't do anything for fame. Actually, I don't think I'll do anything for fame. I don't really want to be famous. Famous sounds. Being famous sounds like might suck. For somebody like me, it sounds like it might suck. I don't know. I like my privacy. I like being anonymous. Fame is, I think it's a little bit overhyped. Bagels. So there the bagels are on the table. Now I'm just dressing them with sesame seeds. Lining them up on the boards. In a moment, I'm going to shape them and then I'm going to put them in the oven. So I hope you can hear me. I'm assuming you can. My AV rig is pretty minimal. It's actually just a phone on a tripod. Now I'm shaping the bagels, just making sure they're round, fixing the joint, lining them up so they're parallel to each other. I'm gonna put them in the oven now. They're about a board's width away from the flame. Clear my table off, and I'm going to put my next batch into the water. There we go. Now I'm going to turn my flames up a tad. Here we go. Now we've got my first batch in the oven. The good old white seed bagels. And now we have time to recite a poem. This poem is called The Pied Piper of Hamelin, and it's by Robert Browning. Hamelin towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. The pleasantest spot you've ever spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats, and bit the babies in the cradles, and ate the cheeses from the vats, and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in the men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking, with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. Alas, the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor's a naughty. And as for our corporation, shocking. To think we buy gowns lined with ermine, for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs. Give your rouses." Oh man. It's been a while since I've recited this poem. Oh, thanks. I don't know what's going on with my head today. I'm like still in sleep land. I really need some caffeine, I think. Maybe I'll just chat for a bit. High school GF, what do you mean? It's not a romantic poem. Well, I guess the poet was sort of Robert Browning was a Victorian. He wasn't a romantic. It's not a romantic poem though. It's about a guy that abducts children because the mayor because he doesn't get paid for pest control. That's what that poem's about. Whew. I seem to get warmed up. I'll recite it. I'll recite the whole thing in a moment, in a while. But my brain's all wound up right now. My brain is a little bit sleep deprived. I think I didn't get enough sleep last night. Need to go to bed earlier. This here is what I flip the bagels with. This is called the Shiva. Just giving it a little wipe off here. Do I like dragons? Yeah, I like fantasy. I'm not a huge fan of dragons. They're not my favorite mythological creature, I guess. If that's what you're asking. I do enjoy fantasy though. The Hobbit was probably one of the first novels I ever read. J.R.R. Tolkien is one of my favorite authors. I should reread those. I haven't read them since the first time I read them. I've only read them once. Oh, good one. Oh, that was a good one. You got me good there. You like dragons? Yeah. I don't mind a bad pun once in a while. I don't think he doesn't deserve to be banned for that. It made me laugh. Dragging these nuts. Oh my god. It's terrible. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip the bagels off of the boards onto the deck. There you go. Our first batch is on the deck. I'm going to put these bagels into the center of the oven. The approximate center of the oven. I should say, I guess. Fortunately, my Shiva is falling apart here. There you go, my first batch is in its optimal position. Its optimal position for bakage. Bakage. Oh my god. My cloth is falling apart. Everything's falling apart this morning. Oh my god. Pog. Poggers, man. It's poggers. We try to recite the poem again. Hopefully, I think it just see, take some deep breaths, get some more oxygen to my brain. I'm going to go a little bit slower. Maybe I think I tripped over my words. Hamlin Towns in Brunswick, my famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you never spied, but when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago. To see the townsfolk suffer so, from vermin was a pity. Rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles, made the cheeses from the vats, and made the soup from the cooks' old ladles, split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests in men's Sunday hats, and even spoiled the women's chats by drowning out their speaking with shrieking and squeaking with 50 different sharps and flats. At last, when a body to the town hall came flocking, "'Tis clear," cried they, "our mayor is a naughty. And as for our corporation, shocking to think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts who can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in the furry civic robes ease. Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we are lacking, for sure as fate will send you packing." At this, the mayor and corporation quaked with mighty consternation. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence, For a guilder, I'd my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I scratch it so, but all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. Just he said this what should happen. At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat. Nor brighter were his eyes, nor moister, than a too long opened oyster. Save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous, for a plate of turtle green and glutinous. Only a scraping of shoes on a mat. Only anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. Come in, cried the mayor, looking bigger, and in did come the strangest figure. His long queer coat from heel to head was half yellow and half red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair and swarthy skin, nor tuft of hair on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips or smile without an in. There was no guessing his or kin, and nobody could enough admire this tall man in his quaint attire. Quoth one, it's as my great-grandsire, starting up with the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone. He advanced towards the council table. Please, your honor, said he, I am able, by means of secret charm to draw, all the creatures living beneath the sun, that crawl or swim or fly or run, after me so as you never saw. And I chiefly use my charm on creatures that do people harm, the mole and toad and newt and viper, and people call me the Pied Piper. And here they notice round his neck a scarf of red and yellow stripe, to match with his coat of self-same check. And that scarf's end hung a pipe, and his fingers they notice were ever straying, as if impatient to be playing upon this pipe, as low it dangled over his vesture so old-fangled. Yes, said he, Pied Piper as I am, in Tartaria fred the camp, last June from his huge swarms of gnats. I ease in Asia than I am, of a monstrous brood of vampire bats. And as for what your brain bewilders, if I rid your town of rats, will you give me 1,000 guilders? 50,000 was the exclamation of an astonished mayor and corporation. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, in green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame is where salt is sprinkled, and ere three shrill notes pipe the pipe uttered. Oh my God. I stumble over my words again. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, in green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled, and ere three shrill notes of pipe battered, you were heard as if an army muttered. And the muttering grew to a grumbling, and the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the houses came the rats tumbling. Great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gator and friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the river Weser, wherein all plunged and perished, except for one who, stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry this. Oh my God. So I'm stumbling on my words. Nothing but facts. It's like a Senate trial today. Nothing but facts. The Senate is in order. Into the street the piper stepped, smiling first a little smile, as if he knew what magic slept in his quiet pipe the while. Like a musical adept to blow his pipe, his lips he wrinkled, and green and blue his sharp eyes twinkled, like a candle flame where salt is sprinkled, and ere three shrill notes of pipe uttered, you heard as if an army muttered, and the muttering grew to a grumbling, the grumbling grew to a mighty rumbling, and out of the house came the rats tumbling, great rats, small rats, lean rats, brawny rats, brown rats, black rats, gray rats, tawny rats, grave old plotters, gay young friskers, fathers, mothers, uncles, cousins, cocking tails and pricking whiskers, families by tens and dozens, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, followed the Pied Piper for their lives. From street to street he piped advancing, and step for step they followed dancing, until they came to the River Weser, wherein all plunged and perished. Save one who stout as Julius Caesar, swam across and lived to carry, as he the manuscripts he cherished, to Ratland home his commentary, which was, at first shrill notes of the pipe, or heard a sound as a scraping tripe, and putting apples wondrous ripe into the cider presses gripe, in a moving way of pickle tub boards, leaving a jar of concert cupboards, but drawing the corks and train oil flasks, and break the hoops of butter casks. It seemed as if a voice sweeter far than by harp or by Solari's reed called out, "Oh, rats, rejoice! The world has grown to a vast rice saltery. So munch on, crunch on, make your nunch on, breakfast, supper, dinner, lunch on, and just a bulky sugar punch on, already staved like a great sun shone. Gracious, scarce an inch before me, just as we thought it said, come bore me, I found the Weser rolling over me." You should have heard the Hamlin people ring the bells, they were off the steeple. "Go," cried the mayor, "and get long poles, poke up the nests and block up the holes. Consult with carpenters and builders, leave in our town not even a trace of the rats." When suddenly up the face the piper perked in the marketplace. "The first, if you please, my 1,000 guilders." 1,000 guilders? The mayor looked blue, so did the corporation too. For council dinners may wear havoc with Claret, Moselle, Vin de Grave Hawk, and half the money would replenish their cellar's biggest butt of Rhenish, to pay this sum to a wondering fellow, with gypsy coat of red and yellow. Besides, quoth the mayor with a knowing wink, our business was done at the river's brink. We saw with their eyes vermin sink. What's dead can't come to life, I think. So friend, we're not folks to shrink from our duty of giving you something to drink, and a matter of money to put in your coat. But as for the guilders, what we spoke of them, as you well know, wasn't joke. Besides, the losses have made us thrifty. 1,000 guilders, come, take 50. The piper's face fell and he cried, "No trifling, I can't wait beside. I promise a visit by dinner time, Baghdad, and accept the prime the head cook's potage. All he's rich in, for having left in the caliph's kitchen of a nest of scorpions, no survivor. With him I prove no bargain driver. With you don't think I'll bake a stiver. And folks who put me in a passion may find me pipe after another fashion." "How," cried the mayor, "do you think I brook? Being worse treated than a cook, insulted via rival, with idle pipe and vesture piebald. Threaten us, fellow, do your worst, blow your pipe there till you burst." Once more he stepped into the street, and to his lips again laid his long pipe with smooth straight cane. And ere he blew 3 notes, such sweet soft notes as yet musician's cunning never gave the enraptured air. There was a rustling that seemed like a bustling of merry crowds justling and pitching and tussling, small feet pattering, one shoes clattering, little hands clapping, little tongues chattering, like foals in the farmer's barley scattering. Oh, came the children running, all the little boys and girls, with rosy cheeks and flaxen curls, and sparkling eyes and teeth like pearls, tripping and skipping around merrily after. Wonderful music was shouting and laughter. The mayor was dumb, and the council stood, as if they're changed to the blocks of wood, unable to move a step or cry, to the children merrily skipping by, could only follow with an eye that joyous crowd at the piper's back, and how the mayor was on the rack, and the wretched council's bosom beat, as the piper turned from the high street, to where the Weser rolled its waters, right in the way of their sons and daughters. However, he turned from south to west, and to Poppenberg Hill his steps addressed, and after him the children pressed. Great was the joy in every breast. He never crossed the mighty top. He's forced to let the piping drop, and we shall see our children stop. When lo, they reached the mountainside, a wondrous portal opened wide, as if a cavern was suddenly hollowed. The piper advanced, and the children followed. When all were in to the very last, the door in the mountainside shut fast. Did I say all? No, one was lame. He could not dance the whole of the way. In and after years, if you blame his sadness, he used to say, "His dollar counts since my playmates left. I can't forget his eyes will rest. Of all the pleasant sights we see, which the piper also promised me. For he led us, he said, to a joyous land, joining the town of jest at hand, where waters gushed and fruit trees grew, the flowers of forth a fairer hue, and everything was strange and new. The sparrow was bright and peacock here, their dogs were brown our fellow deer, and having these lost their stings, the horses were born with eagle's wings, and just as I became assured, my lame foot would be speedily cured. And music stopped and I stood still and found myself outside the hill, left behind against my will, to go now limping as before and never hear of that country more. Alas, alas for Hamelin, there came to many a burgher's pate a text which says that heaven's gate opes the rich at his easy rate as the needle's eye takes camel in. The mayor said east, west, north, and south, proffered the piper by word of mouth, wherever was men's lot to find him, silver and gold to his heart's content, if only he'd return the way he went, and bring the children behind him. But when they saw 'twas lost endeavor, and piper and dances were gone forever, they made a decree that lawyers never should think their records dated duly, if after the day of the month and year, these words do not as well appear. And so long after what happened here, on the 22nd of July, 1376, in the better memory fixed, the place of the children's last retreat, they called it Pied Piper Street, where anyone playing pipe or tabor was sure for his future lose his labor, nor suffer the hostelry or tavern, shocked where the street was fallen, and opposite the place of the cavern, they wrote the story on a column, and on great church window painted, saying to make the world acquainted, how their children were stolen away, and there it stands this very day. And I must not admit to say, in Transylvania there is a tribe of alien people who ascribe the way and dress of which their neighbors lay such stress to their fathers and mothers having risen out of some subterranean prison into which they were Japan a long time ago in a mighty band out of Hamlin towns in Brunswick land, but how or why they don't understand. So, Lily, let me and you be wipers of scores out with old men, especially pipers. And if they should pipe us free from rats and bites, if we promise them aught, let us keep our promise. Oh, I made it. I got through the whole thing. Oof. It wasn't pretty, but I did it. Oh, I'm almost awake now. No, I'm making bagels. Ukrainian mama. Ukrainian style bagels. There's a sesame bagel. Tossing, yeah. I live for the toss. Bagel toss. It's what I live for. It's the only thing I have to live for. Ukrainian bagels. I can flip them. I can flip them like a boss too. I'll do the bagel flip for you. Sushi bagel. I invented the sushi bagel. Or I thought I did. I was hoping to be the inventor of the sushi bagel. Oh, almost lost it there. Just trying to do it on an angle. Yeah, a sushi bagel would be awesome. Just like mix like nori, shredded nori, and candied ginger. No, maybe not candied ginger. Maybe just like ginger powder or something. I don't know. And top it with lox and cream cheese. There you go, you got a sushi bagel. Where have you eaten a sushi bagel at? Sushi bagel sounds like a great idea. That'd probably be my favorite bagel. If there was one. If we made a sushi bagel here, that'd be the one I ate all the time. I love sushi. Sushi.
hippie stuff. Yeah.
What? I think it would be. I think it would be a tribute. It'd be a tribute to Japanese culture and to bagels. I think it would ennoble the bagel and extol Japanese culture. Ta-da! Portland, yeah. It does sound like something that Portland would do. Those Portlanders. Mighty ingenious those Portlanders are. They stole my idea before I was able to implement it. Maybe I mentioned it on my stream and they stole it from my stream. I should probably keep my ideas to myself. I was gonna do the sushi bagel, I swear.
Yeah. They will chop you up. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that's traditional Japanese hospitality. Whipping out a katana, chopping it into bits. Katana. Samurai bagels. That could be the name of my shop. I'd call it Samurai Bagels. My signature bagel would be a sushi bagel. And we'd cut them with the actual katanas. We'd cut the bagels with katanas. And we'd spread the cream cheese with fucking katanas. We use katanas for everything. We'd serve the bagel on a katana.
Samurai Jack, SJ Bagels.
Samurai Sushi Bagels. SSB. A company has to have a good acronym. Our acronym, this company's acronym is RMRS. I like that. That's a good. Well, if you include Mary and the salt, it's RMRS. It could just be RR, I guess. But that's still that's a good acronym. It all comes down to the acronym. SS Sushi Samurai Bagels. Samurai Sushi Bagels. SSN SSB. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh my god. Still. Let me tell you a story about when I was young. There once was a young man named Roland Pine. wasn't baking bagels. One day he was walking through a park and playing his recorder to rest a while from all his baking, when suddenly he spied a corpse lying on the ground beneath a swarm of flies. He put down his recorder, walked over to the corpse, shooed the flies away, covered the dead man with stones. Returning to his oven later that day, he found that his oven blade had gone on by itself and had already baked half the bagels he needed. From that day on, Roland Pine was the happiest baker alive. He'd bake until he was tired, and he'd pull his recorder out of his pocket while his oven blade went on by itself. But Roland Pine lived in a town whose mayor did not admire his skill, and was jealous of his fame. So the mayor devised a plan to rid the town of Roland. In the beginning, he said that Roland was a good worker, but lazy. Next, he said that Roland baked a whole lot, but badly. Then he accused Roland of being a sorcerer. The people turned on him. Therefore, Roland Pine took his recorder and left his home behind. When Roland Pine came to a neighboring town, he went to all the business owners, but none of them would give him any work. Finally, he met an old busker and asked him for work to keep body and mind together. "Come along with me," said the old man, "and we will share alms." So Roland Pine and the old man started going around and singing. "Baker, why do you bear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves your wealth, although it is golden and good for her health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Everybody gave alms to the old man, but to Roland they said, "Why does a young man like you obey? Why don't you work for a living?" "Nobody will hire me," replied Roland Pine. "That's what you say. There's a king with so many hungry soldiers that he'll pay good wages to anyone willing to feed them." So Roland Pine went to the king's kitchen and took the old man whose alms he'd been sharing. The oven had never been used by anyone. Roland mixed the dough, then he rolled it into rings, then he boiled them, dressed them with seeds, baked them until they're golden brown. Then he tossed them into a crate to cool down. Whenever Roland wearied of baking, he'd play his recorder. And once he was weary of playing his recorder, he would sing, "Baker, why do you wear those silent things? Baker, how did you forget to stand where your feet are? Baker, no woman loves you well. All is golden, good for health. Baker, you are too dirty for a lover to wish to preen. Your limbs are the knots and cords of an old-fashioned machine. Baker, line the rings and bash the boards. You don't need their applause for a thing that is yours. You are a baker and are what you are, not by a miracle, but by the work of your arms. Baker, be who you are." Hearing the singing, a princess looked out the window. She saw Roland Pine and fell in love with him. But she was a princess and he a baker. The king would never consent to their marriage. So they decided to run away together. They fled at night in a boat. They were already on the high seas when Roland remembered the busker. He said to his beloved, "We must fetch the old man, since he shared his alms with me. We can't go off and leave him like that." At that very moment, the old man came up behind the boat, walking on the water as though it had been dry land. Reaching the boat, he said, "We agreed to divide everything we had, and I shared everything I own. Now you have the king's daughter. You must give half of her to me." At this he gave Roland Pine a knife to cut his bride in two.
Pod took the knife with a trembling hand. "You are right," he said.
"You are perfectly right." He was at the point of cutting his bride in two, when suddenly the old man stopped him. "Stop! I knew you were a just man. I am the dead man, mind you, whom you covered with stones. Go now, and may the two of you always be happy." At this, the old man walked away on the waves. The boat came to an island rich in all good things, with a princely palace awaiting the newlyweds. The end. The end. The end. Ba 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 ba. That was the story. It's a sad day today. It is the day after the death of American democracy. It is the beginning of authoritarian rule. Ask not what you can do for your country, but what it can do for Trump. That's the new motto. What can the country do for Trump? America is now officially Trump's. He owns you. He owns America. He's the only American, the last of Mohicans. I'd like to eulogize the death of American democracy by reciting the Declaration of Independence. The first half, anyways. The first part. That's the only part I know. But here it goes. It's a sad, sad tribute to the end of a great democracy. The Democrats and the Trumplicans, the Senate Trumplicans. They destroyed democracy in America. They did it. The Republicans finally did it. The Trumplicans. Anyways, here is the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political band which connected them to another, assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal stations to which laws of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impelled them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the universe with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed, and whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles, and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that the governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. Experience accordingly has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer when evils are sufferable than right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they have become accustomed. But when long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces the design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patience suffering of these colonies, and such is the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of England is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. It is refuse assent to laws most wholesome and necessary for the public good. That's all I know. It seems like a very fitting eulogy. The eulogy now, it's not a declaration, it's the eulogy of independence. Dictator Donald is now the King of America. Dictator Donald. democracy. It's the death of American democracy. The death of American democracy. That's my new single. It's gonna be a hit. It's a big hit. It's already a big hit in the Cayman Islands. Death of American democracy. The death, the death, the death. The death of American democracy. once was a rich man who just had one son. The boy was dearly loved by his father. As everybody knows, the greatest scourge on earth for a rich man is work. Therefore, when his son turned 14, the father decided to send him to school to learn the science of laziness. On the same street as the rich man, there lived a famous and highly respected professor who had never done a lick of work in his life he could get out of doing. The rich man called on him, found him stretched out in the garden, under a fig tree, with a cushion under his head, a cushion under his back, and a cushion under his buttock. Before talking to him, I must first see how he does, said the rich man to himself. And he hid behind a hedge to observe the man. The professor lay as still as a corpse with his eyes closed. The only time he stirred was whenever he heard the thud of a ripe fig falling on the ground near where he lay. He reached slowly out, bring the fruit to his mouth, and swallow it. Then he wouldn't stir again until another fig fell. This is just the professor my son needs, decided the rich man. And he came out from his hiding place, introduced himself, and asked the professor if he'd teach his son the science of laziness. Old man, answered the professor, just above a whisper. Don't talk so much. It tires me to listen to you. If you want to bring your son up as you and I are, just send him to me. So the rich man went home, took his son by the hand, thrust a feathered pillow under his arm, and led him to the garden. I urge you, he told him, to do everything you see this Professor Vidal must do. The boy, who already had an inclination for that particular science, also stretched out under the fig tree. Observing his teacher, he saw him reach for every fig that fell and bring it to his mouth. Why should I work myself to death reaching for figs, he thought, and he lay there with his mouth wide open. Soon a fig fell into his mouth, and he let it go down slowly. Then he reopened his mouth. Another fig fell. This time it missed. He lay there perfectly still and murmured, "Why so wide of the mark? Fig fall into my mouth." Seeing how wise his pupil already was, the professor said, "Go on now. You have nothing to learn from me. You can even teach me something." So the boy went home to his father, who thanked heaven for having given him such a smart son. Smarticles of achievement. Smarticles of Chuck E. Cheeseman. I gotta kill the stream. My phone's about to die. Thanks for watching. Have an excellent morning.